when I first came out with Holla Holla and shit, we wasn't really getting that kind of love, you know what I'm saying, on the East Coast. So we went out to LA, Power 105. My brother was, Demizza was the program director at the time. You remember Demizza?
Yeah.
Was the program director. Demizza championed that record. Demizza took Holla Holla and fucking just destroyed it on the West Coast. Hence, you see, I'm in the video. I'm on the West Coast in the 6'4" Valleys. I'm like, yo, these niggas is showing me the love. I'm going out there to shoot my video. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So Leo gets on the phone with.
Well, that wasn't Leor's vision?
No.
The West Coast wasn't his vision for you.
Oh, this was us moving and shaking.
I swear to God,
wherever we can move and shake, man.
This is the fastest peeing guy in the world.
Yeah, you gotta go real quick.
Oh no!
But yo, we was trying to get it popping wherever we could get it popping. East Coast wasn't playing my shit. We went out west. Power 105, Demizza, big shout to Demizza. He showed us the love and started banging the record. So now Demizza's banging the record. It starts spreading. You know how it go. West Coast, LA starts playing, Oakland, down to San Fran. Down, you know how that goes, just like fucking East Coast, you know, Baltimore, Virginia, DC, same type of shit. So Leo makes a call to Tracy at the time, Tracy Clardo at High. He's like, yo, Tracy, how the fuck are you not playing JaRule? He's breaking on the West and he's an East Coast artist. Bang! Next thing you know, we start getting them spins on I-97. Because it's true, it's like, yo, how are you letting the West Coast break an East Coast artist?
So today's video is about getting shit done, as my hat suggests, but you saw that interview with JaRule on Drink Champs with Nori, and I know they're a little bit, you know, drunk and high by that point where I got that clip from. It's a great interview, by the way. If you're a fan of JaRule like I am, definitely watch the interview. It's like 2 years old. But there was a point in the interview that I just showed you where JaRule basically talks about sort of when he blew up on the scene, right? The first main song that he came out, even the one that I remember, was Holla Holla, which was, I think, in like 98 or 99. And he talks about the story that even though he signed with DefJam, one of the biggest hip hop labels in the world at that time, that pretty much has New York on lock in terms of resources, of being able to get stuff from the radio and all that, that song, being on DefJam, still did not blow up in New York. But, you know, speaking about getting shit done, what he's talking about, what he did, and how he got it to blow up on the West Coast is what I discussed in this video, and I also want to discuss about what Leo Cohen did later on with being able to have certain leverage to get things moving on the East Coast. So let's kind of dive into that. This is a great clip, and I definitely want to talk about this. What's going on, guys? My name is Matei. Another day for Music Biz Daily. If you want to know what me and my team do, stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to tell you about, you know, all of that, plus what I got going on this month. You definitely don't want to miss it. I'll be up in New York in June, all this good stuff. But stay to the end of the video, and let me get back to this JaRule clip that I chose from the Drink Champs interview to break that down. So, again, when JaRule is saying that they got the Holla Holla song in the hands of program directors on the East Coast as they're releasing it, you know, in New York, they weren't really playing it. They weren't really moving it that heavy. You know, I guess the DJs weren't sort of picking it up just yet or whatever the case was. And if you watch the entire interview, it talks about how JaRule already had connections. I mean, the way he got signed was through a Foxy Brown connection. He was known by Jay-Z, like he was known by a lot of people at the time. Matter of fact, he had a group prior to that unfortunately never got released the proper way because of what happened to one of his group members. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that it's not like people didn't know JaRule on the music scene, and it's not like he didn't have the biggest label behind him to try to push the song in New York, and it still didn't happen. So him and Irv Gotti, you know, being the entrepreneurs that they are, they're not gonna just let that fly. They went and, you know, went to the West Coast to, you know, reconnect with their connections out there that they had, the program directors that he talks about, you know, a couple of the DJs out there, and they, you know, try to get the record as big as possible over there. You know, if it wasn't gonna happen in New York, it's gonna happen in LA. And sure enough, they got it to happen in LA, right? And another interesting thing that was in that clip that I showed you is that JaRule talks about how the way the video ended up looking after they released it sort of was influenced by the fact that I blew up in LA. Now, this was almost 20 years ago, so I'm not trying to tell you that first you need to blow up the song, then you make a video, but I do talk a lot about other ways of getting to your official music video. I don't disagree that in 2021 and beyond, it's sort of customary, or like it's almost a need that when you put out a song, you better have a visual almost damn near on the same day as you're putting it out. But it doesn't always have to be your official music video. If you're in the accelerator, in my community where I teach independent artists on how to get to the next level, we talk about this all the time, but there's so many different strategies. You can do a lyric video, you can do the radio clean edit with the different footage and just make it a lot cheaper on your budget and all that. But you can make your video sort of represent the marketing strategy that you had beforehand to get the song to a certain level, and in fact it may give you more leverage to do certain things, like get certain brand ambassadors or get certain companies to sponsor you by giving you clothing or energy drinks in the video or different types of products. It happens all the time. And you saw what JaRule did is after it blew up on the West Coast, if you watch the video, it reflects the West Coast. They'll probably get able to get the lowriders free for the video from some of the major shops that were doing the lowriders and all that. So anyways, there's just a little side story, but you see that JaRule didn't just like sit on his hands back in New York with his team and say and start blaming the label. Hey, you guys what are y'all doing with my record? It's not blowing out. Why is this not happening? They took it into their own hands, like many entrepreneurial artists. They went out to the West Coast, they blew up over there to a point where Leo Cohen, who was the head of DefJam at the time, that wasn't even a strategy, right? So when it came to the business team at DefJam, they weren't even doing much. I mean, something happened that they didn't even have an intention to do. Obviously, Leo Cohen wasn't mad that it blew up on the West Coast, but what it did for Leo Cohen, it gave him enough leverage to call his people at the radio stations and the program directors, probably at Hot 97, 105.1, and Power 105 in New York, and basically do what JaRule just said, like, yo, why the fuck are you not playing this song in New York? JaRule is an East Coast artist. Are you all really gonna let West Coast blow them up over there first? And that meant a lot for the radios, because let's not act like radios do not benefit from artists in their regions blowing up and then being able to go to do interviews at their radio stations, which in turn gets the listeners to listen to those radio stations, and it's a whole regional thing. So I just want to show that clip because a lot of you guys, even if you're working, let's say with a team like mine for digital marketing, or you're working with PR agents, or you're working with program directors or third-party radio promoters that are promoting radio, a lot of artists, for whatever reason, tend to sit on their hands and start blaming and pointing fingers like they're not doing that, they're not doing this, and they're not doing that. What you need to look at it is as these are your resources. As an entrepreneur, if one of your parties may be slipping, maybe it's on purpose because they're incompetent, but sometimes something is not going on because there's just some complications that they're potentially working on to iron out. But your responsibility is to then say, you know what, okay, fine. I'm either gonna support my team or support my resources to get done whatever they're having difficulty with, or I'm gonna take it in my own hands, figure out a different solution, go elsewhere and market it in another area with another strategy and another intent potentially, because you cannot stop until you complete your goal, which your goal should be to blow up your single or your album, whatever the case is. I'm gonna leave it there. That's that. Just watch the video, listen to what I said, and think about it, make your own strategy, and get to work, get some shit done. Anyways, if you guys want to know what me and my team do, as always, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you hit that link in the bio, and when you do, make sure you check out our Indie Artist Accelerator, because if you were in that, you already would have been up to speed with all these type of strategies. You would have already been thinking like JaRule was thinking back 20 years ago, and that's just going to accelerate your career, get you to the next level faster. Also, make sure you check me out every week on Twitch with Clinton Sparks. We got he's got 3 major shows that I'm on. I'm like, temporary co-host in a few small segments called Music Biz Weekly. We talk about the music business all the time. A lot of stuff that you're gonna learn, drop a lot of gems. Make sure you check me out there. For anybody watching me on YouTube, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. And please subscribe to the channel. Give me some feedback on my videos. Like it, dislike it, I don't care. Let me know what you think in the comments. In the description below, you can figure out what me and my team do. But on YouTube, I tend to get pretty good questions on other topics. Matter of fact, the video before this one, it was a video answering a specific question to one of my YouTube fans. So let me know what else you want me to do videos on. Again, appreciate you guys. You know, you already know what to do with these videos. Thanks for the support. Share it with any artist or business owner, entrepreneur that needs to see this. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, as always, for another day of Music Biz Daily. Peace.